Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we attempt to make sense of the wild world of corporate finance, and boy oh boy, do we have a doozy today with Madison Square Garden Sports Corp. Today we are diving into an 8K filing from Madison Square Garden Sports Corp. Now what does an 8K? Think of it as a company's running diary for the stock market, reporting big events that happen between their regular quarterly or annual reports. So what is the big news? Well, Madison Square Garden Sports Corp, or MSGs as they're known on the stock exchange, has made some significant financial moves with not one but two of their famous teams, the New York Knicks and the New York Rangers. They've essentially updated their borrowing arrangements. Let's start with the New York Knicks. Their subsidiary, Knicks LLC, has entered into an amendment to their credit agreement. Basically, they've revamped their credit line. This new deal, called the 2025 Knicks Credit Agreement, allows them to borrow up to $425 million. This is a big pile of money meant for everyday operations and general company needs. This new credit facility has a pretty long leash with a maturity date set for November of 2030. That means they have until then to pay back any money they borrow under this agreement. Now about the interest. When they borrow money, they'll pay interest. This interest rate is floating, meaning it can change. It is based on either a base rate plus a small percentage or a rate called term SOFR plus a bit more. For the SOFR option, the extra charge can range from 1.25% to 1.375% depending on the credit rating of the NBA's league-wide financing. So if the NBA's credit score goes up or down, their interest payments might tick up or down too. And here is a key number. They took out $267 million that was already borrowed under their old agreement and essentially refinanced it with this new one. So as of the 6th of November 2025, they had $267 million borrowed on this new Knicks facility. It shows they are actively using this line of credit to manage their cash flow. Now every loan comes with strings attached. For this credit facility, Knicks LLC needs to keep a debt service ratio of at least 1.5. What does that mean? It's a measure of whether the company can cover its debt payments with its earnings. A ratio of 1.5 means they need to have earnings that are 1.5 times the amount of their debt payments. It is a sign of financial health. They also have the usual business rules like not taking on too much debt or making major business changes without talking to the lenders. But that is not all. The New York Rangers, another Madison Square Garden Sports Corp team, have also updated their credit agreement. Similar to the Knicks, the Rangers subsidiary, Rangers LLC, has entered into an amendment to their own credit agreement. This new deal, the 2025 Rangers Credit Agreement, provides them with a senior secured revolving credit facility of up to $250 million. Just like the Knicks facility, this one also matures on the 6th of November 2030, giving them a decade before needing to repay the borrowed funds. The interest rates here are similar to the Knicks but slightly higher. They can choose between a base rate plus a margin of 0.375% to 0.625% or term SOFR plus a credit spread adjustment plus a margin of 1.375% to 1.625% depending on the NHL's league-wide credit rating. So a bit more expensive for the Rangers, which can be typical for different sports leagues. Interestingly, as of the 6th of November 2025, the Rangers had no money borrowed on this new credit facility. This could mean they are in a strong cash position or are just preparing for future needs. And just like the Knicks, the Rangers also must maintain that same 1.5 debt service ratio and abide by customary covenants and agreements with their lenders. These amendments are important because they show how companies manage their debt and financing. For Madison Square Garden Sports Corp, these moves signal a proactive approach to securing funds for their operations, especially given the significant capital requirements of running major sports franchises. Now, you might be wondering why these credit agreements are being amended. It's usually about updating terms to reflect current market conditions, getting better interest rates, or simply adjusting the amount of money available as the business needs change. These are standard financial maneuvers, but crucial for a company's stability and growth. And signing off on this report is Victoria M. Mink, Executive Vice President, Chief Financial Officer, and Treasurer. This tells us the financial leadership is actively managing these credit facilities. Alright, let's put on our investor hats. Madison Square Garden Sports Corp is essentially refreshing its credit lines for two of its most valuable assets, the Knicks and the Rangers. This is a positive sign. It indicates the company is well positioned to secure favorable financing with substantial credit facilities available. For the Knicks, drawing down a significant portion of their new credit line suggests they are actively using this capital for ongoing operations or strategic initiatives. This isn't necessarily a red flag if the company is generating sufficient revenue to service this debt, which seems to be the case given the debt service ratio covenants. The Rangers having no current borrowings on their new facility might mean they are conservative with their financing or are anticipating larger expenses down the line. The maturity dates extending to 2030 provide long-term financial flexibility. The interest rates tied to base rates or SOFR plus margins are fairly standard in the corporate lending world and reflect market conditions. The covenants, like the minimum debt service ratio, are designed to protect the lenders by ensuring the borrower maintains a healthy financial standing. The risk here is always the cyclical nature of sports and entertainment. Revenue can fluctuate based on team performance, fan engagement, and overall economic conditions. However, these credit facilities provide a crucial buffer during leaner times or for investing in player contracts, stadium upgrades, or other growth opportunities. In conclusion, these amendments to the credit agreements are a sign of financial prudence and strategic financial management by Madison Square Garden Sports Corp. They are ensuring they have the necessary capital to operate and potentially expand. The key will be how effectively they deploy this capital and manage their debt service obligations in the long run. What is your take on these financial moves by MSGs? Do you think they signal strength or potential risks? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to Corporate Decoder for more in-depth looks into company filings. And don't forget to join our Discord community linked in the description for even more discussions on corporate finance. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.